Hello and welcome, wonderful adventures. This is the tutorial where we're making a puzzle game similar to this. So let's get started. If you followed along in the previous tutorial, you'll automatically notice that we have a couple of different things, or a couple of different new nodes. Our new scoring system is set up. So if we take a look at our first node, it's just a label here that I used to just to define when the next level, how far you got to go as far as points go to get to the next level. It's basically the same as this. I have it just a line to the left and a line top, but I have pixel size at 16. I have moved it up a little bit so it wouldn't sit directly on top of this, and also put in a couple of nodes for our label or our level, and it is at 16 pixels and centered and to the top, and the level number is at 32 pixels centered and at the bottom, and they're both 64 by 64 on the custom minimum size. And I have one more label down here. Let's zoom out some. Take a look at it. It just says new label, and it's the same settings as this label here. So it's just set up exactly the same. And when the player beats the level, I'll have our pseudo loading screen show our new new level loading screen. So I'm just going to make this a loading screen for our level as well. And let's see, I added also a timer here, and I have it set pretty fast. You can't set it faster than that, or you'll get an error from Godot because they don't want you to go faster than that. And I went with a timer here on this one just to really just to use a timer. And it's kind of simple. It's no different than using an await, but the timer won't fire anymore, but it will consistently fire off afterwards as long as you have one shot set. So that's kind of why I chose to use a timer in this one. So with the new script going on, let's take a look at that. And you can see here at the beginning, I added a new variable for level, a variable for change levels, just to check for when the timer goes off. It will need to make sure that the level is ready to be changed, because I'm going to allow all the pieces to fall in the level before I actually change the level. So I'm going to let the person accumulate all of their points first. And we have level up score here, and that's just standard 500 just for that equation that I was talking about. It's just a real simple equation. This is just a base number for that simple equation. And you can see here we have two new functions. This one we already ran. I'm going to go ahead and block this out. And I'll go ahead and unblock this one. I'll change this to 1. And we won't be using this one anymore. So I will end up deleting this from here. But if you wanted to use this for your level maker, you could use this one for your level maker also. All I'm doing is showing you two different ways that we're going to make the level, which is one of them is almost exactly the same as this, just a little bit more involved. If we scroll down a little bit, we'll see that I'm going to be getting rid of these few lines. We won't be using those anymore because we'll be using those in another one of our new functions. But first we'll take a look at this and see, and then we'll see what I'm talking about. So if we go here and we see in our load, first I moved some of these variables that, like things here that were set inside of our load direct if statement, because it would only set those things if it's loaded. So I ended up moving those out and down in here, and then the rest of them, I moved them down into our new function here. So that's what all this is showing as far as our load. But we are loading a new variable here, so we want to make sure that we have this in there. So make sure you load our new variable, and for save, make sure you save the new variable. So we're just checking to see. Now you'll put this here, put the folder inside, because we won't create the folder. We'll just right click, create new folder. So we'll add a folder that way, and then this will automatically set it into that folder. So just make sure the folder is named properly, like this, or whatever it's named is in this particular string. So let's take a look at this one and see exactly what it does. So basically, as our load function does, this is also another load function that just loads the file up into a dictionary, if just in case it was created, it will load it there. So if we have a dictionary already there, it's going to create it. If it's not, we won't have to worry about anything, because we won't be calling this, right? So we're just doing this call here to start setting everything up. So what we did was take our dictionary, store it into a default dictionary, and then we're going to go in that default dictionary by the level number that we chose, and we'll get that key and grab all of the glass tiles in there, and we'll set all of those cells to the glass tile. And then after that, we'll take all the empty cells and we'll set them to a random tile. And this is what I was talking about in the load, where I shifted most of the other things down to here, and just want to make sure that we put all of these down here. To this kind of makes it look more like the level is instantiating, even though we're not instantiating it. You can kind of think of it more as the init of our level. So let's take a look at the first function that we ran. And again, we have a default empty dictionary. And what's important here is we have a level count and an empty count. I'm going to change this to 11. So what this does is it runs through a, we pass in the number, and by that number variable, we'll run through, we'll do a for loop as we've done before, and we'll do another for loop where we just pick random tiles in that for loop, and by the number on the empty count. So we're using our empty count. And when it goes through here, and say afterwards we have this increase to 10, it would go through this 10 times and add 10 empty ones. So that's what that's doing. It's going through it's making basically an array, because it's giving us tiles. If we was to use get cells, we would have an array from it. So I want to think of that more kind of like an array. So it's it's making an array anyways, but also from the array. We're going to grab those tiles, and then we're going to build the level, the string level. We turn our variable into a string, and then we give it that array. So each level key for the dictionary is an array. So that's why you see in here all of these are arrays, and then an array, an array, an array, an all of them have their own arrays for each level. And like I said, I just go through here and like do a count up to so many nodes. I add stage count is more or less for keeping track on our 10. So by adding the 10s, and then when I just reach the 89, if I'm doing 99 by default, this would be something you would probably want to change out if you didn't do 99. So I wanted every level from 90 on to have 10, so that's the only reason why I did that. We add one. Just make sure that you add one for your count, so when you go through this, it sets all of the levels, and then we save it. And if you ran this every single time, it's going to rerun this. If you left this unblocked, it'll rerun it every single time, and you would have 99 different levels every single time you ran this game. So you can think of that as an option, but for most purposes, this is kind of something that you would want to run once and then just leave it be. And for our next function, we'll look at copy level for text. And it is basically the same thing as we've done before, but only thing I'm doing different, and have to double check here that we actually do have a file that exists, because we want to make sure that with this one we're passing in a direct number, and if we already have these all set up, this will take that direct number, change that whole level around. So for instance, right now we have set up 99 levels, and if we look at our level 1, you can see it's just one single array. But if I run the game now, let me just scroll up to the top and make sure that I unchecked our function and I set it to 1. We're going to run the game, and well, it should have reload. Should have updated the game completely. So I don't know why it didn't. It actually did. It just acted like it didn't. Stop this. It should rerun it. It should run as our game. Oh, I know why it keeps doing that now. It's because I keep having this on. So let's run it now. And we're actually on level 3 right now. So I don't really know how we did that. Maybe we got our best score already at the 1500. That would have put us at level 3. So I can do this again real quick and change it to level 3. And now we should have a miracle. And so just to show you, choose reload and that will save it. But that's what our level looks like. So that's what was going on there. So let's go back down here and take a look at this and get a full understanding. So, like I said, what it does is just copy down all of those tiles and puts them from an array. Like I said, when we get used cells, we're getting an array. So we're going to take that array and make a new array and append all those arrays, and then we're going to take this level that we made by command and turn that into whatever we want. So we can come and pick any one of them. So what was the other one that we changed? Level 3, and it matches level 1. So that's how we would handle that. And now let's take a look at. Don't forget, we want to save. We always want to save the file when we're done here. So now we're going to take a look at. In here, I did change some things around. If you notice, I removed check move equals true and check move equals false. That's just because in tile animate I redid that here. Check move is now going to automatically equal true when it's true, and this will return it false. This will make sure that the input can't be processed, and then it's going to process everything first and return false if it's not processed. But we won't have to worry about setting it to true down here because it's already true. And if anything calls for the boolean to come back, it will return true. So that's what we did different in here. And see, in our delete score, I changed this around a little bit to make it only play the sound one time. And I changed, if you look at score sound, I changed max polyphonies back down to 1. I only want this to play one time for the score because I don't want it to be too loud when the score sounds gets played. So I just want it to run one score. So in here you can see that I also set the best score in here, the label for it, because when we go back to the pseudo new level loading, I want them to be able to see an updated best score. So I have best score changed in here as well. This is the new equation that I was talking about. So all I'm doing is just seeing if the score is equal to or greater to that 500 plus the level that we're on plus times 500. So just a real simple equation just to check and see. And if it is, then we'll go ahead and set change levels to true, and we'll run our change levels function. And if we come down here and look at what change levels function does, it checks to see if check move is being ran, and if it is, we'll set the timer to run. And when the timer is set to one shot, it will run, check see if check move is true, and if it is, it will continue to run the timer. But when it's false, it'll come in here, it'll add a new level variable, show our pseudo loading screen, and then call our new function with our new level. And we end back with what we just seen from the beginning. So now let's take a look at what it would look like when we beat a level. And first, I just want to X that one off, and I'll probably redo this one again, so because I don't think this current level is able to be beaten. So I'm just gonna run it again, and you can see it went on ahead and set me up a new level. And while I'm building up here, let me just explain what's going to happen in our next tutorial. So in the next tutorial, what we'll do is we'll go through all over the code again one more time to not refactor anything, but to make sure that all the code is looking the same for you as it does for me. We'll also, in the tutorial after that, go over all the nodes again. If I can squeeze them all in together, I'll try to squeeze them all in together, but it may be more beneficial to have them as separate ones anyways. So, but if I can squeeze them all in together, I will, and that'll be the code will recap, and the nodes, all the not necessarily the layouts, but things like the filters, making sure that the filters are set and turned off, and everything for like styles are looking like they're supposed to look as well. And then in the final one, we'll do the settings, which we'll probably can do definitely with the nodes, because it won't be very long at all. But we want to make sure that the settings are correct. So if you want to do something like this, then you can, and or if you want to stretch it out and keep the screen looking the same. Because if you have something like viewport set, then instead of stretching like this, it actually ends up stretching a little bit different. After I finish those tutorials, I'm actually going to release the full project then. And then I'll also do a tutorial for Windows export and Android export. So you'll be able to see the game as well on Google Play, because I'll go ahead and export my demo version and put it on my Google Play, and I'll leave that in the link for at on the GitHub, or or here. So I'll have them both. Yeah, I'll have them both here and on GitHub, so you can see. And hopefully by then I should also have my Discord set up. So if you need any help or anything is messing up in yours, and you may have missed something, we can try to track down the issue and see what happened, or maybe I missed something because I'm not doing exactly what you're doing in particular. Say maybe you want your tiles to clear out and not give them more points after the level speed. So we just click here, and you can see that it already restarted everything, and that quickly. It happens very fast, and now the number isn't so bad to go up. So I could definitely went up much faster. So keep that in mind. If you run into any issues, don't just go ahead and leave a comment on this video. Is my Discord isn't up yet, or if you have to, I don't know where else. I don't have any other platforms. I have Twitter, but not for the studio yet. So that could be a later edition. But so Discord coming soon with this for anything. But comment here, and please like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I'll see you in the next tutorial. And thank you for watching.